What's going on, Tannehill fans? Today we're talking about the Miami Dolphins on the MVP 2015 NFL preview. As you know, we've been previewing all the NFL teams so far, and this time it's the Miami Dolphins. And I'm excited to talk about the Dolphins because this is a team that actually could be going to the playoffs this year, and that surprises quite a few people. Let's talk about the offense really quick because Ryan Tannehill, he's got Greg Jennings, who I like to make fun of Ricky, who's a Vikings fan, and tell him that Greg Jennings is past his prime because he has great experience with Greg Jennings not doing that much for your offense. But Kenny Stills, that's something that actually is a pretty good replacement for Mike Wallace, who is obviously gone now from the Tannehills. He's not on the team anymore, and I think this is a good replacement for cheap. You got Kenny Stills pretty cheap. But unfortunately, the money you save on a guy like Kenny Stills goes to two guys in particular. Jordan Cameron, who's getting $15 million over the next 2 years, which I think is crazy for a guy who basically had one season where he was not great, but just good on the factory of sadness that is the Cleveland Browns. Then you have, I love this number, $114 million in 6 years going to Ndamukong Suh. Don't get me wrong, Ndamukong Suh, having him on your team is worth every penny, but at the same time, that's a lot of money going to one guy. He is the highest paid non-quarterback now. That is insane. He's going to do great things for the Miami Dolphins. He is going to step on Peyton Manning's face, which is exactly what you want him for. The unfortunate part for the Miami Dolphins is you got to get players for cheap. You got to get a guy like Kenny Stills and hope that he plays even better than Mike Wallace does. You got to go find, Greg Jennings, who's past his prime, but cheap now, and hope that he steps it up past the, the Viking days, going back to the Green Bay days. So that'll be interesting to see for sure. I'm not 100% sure if this offense is going to be that great, unfortunately, because I don't think there's an extremely reliable weapon out there. Devontae Parker coming in becomes that, number one receiver. And fantastic out of Louisville, without a doubt. One of the better wide receivers in the draft. So, if that translates, which, for the sake of argument, let's assume that it does, that is going to be the saving grace for Ryan Tannehill and all the Miami Dolphin fans out there. Then, of course, like I said, Ndamukong Suh out there, that's going to be amazing. C.J. Mosley, who's used to playing with Ndamukong Suh, that's good too. You still got Wake out there. So this whole defensive line is going to be terrifying. Teams are going to be scared. That Tom Brady is shaking in his sleep right now, just thinking about having to go up against these guys and thinking about the, 2.5 seconds he has to throw the ball before somebody's sitting on top of him. Let's talk about the season now. Going down the schedule, let's talk about some games. Redskins. I'm sorry, Redskins fans. I just don't believe in you guys. Miami Dolphins, you guys got this one. Jaguars, Miami Dolphins can beat the Jaguars as well. The Bills, I'm going to give a split. So the first game, which is the home game, I'll give you guys that one. The Jets, you can beat the Jets. You can beat the Titans. You can beat the Texans. Patriots at New England here. I don't know if you guys can win at New England. So I'm not going to give it to you. That's a loss right there. Moving forward, the Bills, like I said, it's a split. You already beat them once, so you're not going to beat them this time. Eagles, I don't think so. Cowboys, it's going to be at home, and the Cowboys typically play a little better when they're on the road. Not sure if I'm going to give this one to the Dolphins. I'm going to take that as a loss. Then, of course, we have the Jets, which that's another win. The Ravens, quite probably a loss. Giants, I'll give it a win. Chargers, sorry guys, you're not going to go to San Diego and win that one. Colts, loss. Patriots, this is the home game. I'll give you a split here. I will be willing to do that for you Dolphins fans out there. So, pretty decent here. I think worst case scenario for Miami, another 8-8 season. Best case scenario, 10 wins. Not too much of a range there, really only 8, 9, 10. But I think this is a good team, and I think this is a team that can get into the playoffs. The problem for the Dolphins is going to be the Texans. Are they going to be, a wild card team? Or is there going to be yet another, team out of the AFC North that goes in? They are always a 2 or 3 team in the playoffs kind of division. So they got to hope that the Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens all beat each other up enough, including the, Browns in there as well to beat those teams up, that only one of those teams get in. Because I think I put more money on both the Colts and the Texans and both the Steelers and the Ravens getting in than I do the Miami Dolphins getting in. The schedule's not that easy. The division's pretty neck and neck for the most part, except for the Jets. So not 100% sold on the Dolphins getting into the playoffs. If you disagree with me, let me know down below in the comment section or at @TheMarkWeber on Twitter. You can follow Most Valuable Podcasts at Most Valuable Pod, and this direction over here, click that to check out our AFC East preview, where we talk all about why Miami might just get into the playoffs and why Tom Brady is awesome. Pretty much is all we talk about. You can't not talk about Tom Brady. I know that pains you guys to hear. So subscribe to the channel so you know when our next preview goes up, because we're going to be previewing all 32 teams in the NFL. So until next time, we'll see you when we talk about more football. Don't forget that we started a Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcasts to check out all of our reward options. Remember, you can still get our content for free by subscribing to our YouTube page. But if you want to support us financially, now you can be rewarded for doing so. The link's in the description. What are you waiting for?